Hey modders, welcome back to Modified Roll. Don't forget we're sponsored by DN Dice. Check out the link to their website in our description, or head over to dndice.co.uk and use the code ModifiedRoll for 10% off all purchases. Just right at the top guys, quick apology. When we were recording this session, one of my neighbour's dogs was sat just outside my window barking at the beginning. Luckily it only lasts for a couple of minutes, but please put up with that. It's just at the beginning of the episode and then they let it back inside. But with that said, in our last episode, the party had made a deal with Lord Fenwick, one of the nobles of Cairn, and set about preparing and finding things to do in and around the city while they waited for these plans to take fruition. This included visiting one of the local bookshops to gather some smut, and find some potential jobs to carry out while they were waiting. They settled on one and headed off back into the valley, to try and find a family heirloom, a sword that was once used to possibly slay a lich. We rejoin them the next morning as they awaken and prepare to head off on their adventure. In this, episode 19 of season 2 of Modified Roll, The Sword in the Corpse, part 1. Last session, you guys had met with Lord Fenwick and you had discussed some of the concerns and some of the things that happened to you in Knight's Valor and some of the goings on since you'd arrived in Cairn. They discussed possible ways forward, trying to figure out if anyone else in the city was involved, and you sort of came to an agreement that you would attend the festival party, the festival ball, with Lord Fenwick, and you would spend a bit of time trying to get to know the other nobles. So with that arrangement with Lord Fenwick, you set about preparing yourselves. You went to one of his tailors, one of his business partners, to arrange for some more formal clothing for the party. And then you went about trying to fill some of the time until then. You went and had a look and you found a job posting for a lesser noble who was looking to retrieve an artifact that belonged to one of his ancestors, a sword that was used to slay a local lich. With the information in hand and a map to its location, you went back to the inn to rest for the evening before your plans to set off the next morning. But before the sun rises, in the dead and quiet of the night, as you all sleep and rest, Giliana, you're dreaming. It has been the normal sort of dreams up till now. Flashes of memories, flashes of seeing some of your family, of reliving the events of the last few days with your new compatriots. Then everything fades. You find yourself standing in endless darkness. There's a smell of rot and damp in the air. As you turn and step, your footfalls leave ripples in a surface level of water that you stand in. You listen and hear silence, except for the steps of your feet in the water. And then you hear behind you. You spin and see nothing there. And again, you turn. And this time as you spin, you come face to face with 3 glowing red eyes stacked vertically atop one another, staring you directly in the face. And then you wake up. You're lying in bed, the sun has risen. You have a very, you're sweating slightly from the dream and you jolt awake. But that was it, just a dream. You all awaken, and what would you guys like to do first thing in the morning as you prepare to set off to complete the quest that was given to you?
Usual, slowly get dressed, head down for some breakfast.
Bit of meditating for Kazizel ahead of a busy day.
Giliana will just be like, she's gonna make sure she's got all her stuff, check that money's still there. Money's still there. She got a lot of money.
Roll an investigation check.
Balls. 18.
You are missing another 6 gold and 4 silver from your purse.
Shit. Okay. Let's hope that we how many gold?
You're missing 6 gold and 4 silver.
Okay.
If you had that much left, I can't remember exactly how much you had.
Well, I guess you'll never know.
You can roll me a perception check if you like.
Okay.
And actually, Twilight, if Gillian, I'm assuming you're not making like a secret of this. You're like start looking through your coinage and then.
Yeah, she's like, shit! Really loud.
Yeah.
Perception. Oh, not bad. 18 again.
Okay, you notice a glinting in like the rafters of this room. I say rafters, it's not like a huge room, but where you've got the horizontal beams that run across the ceiling of the room, you notice just in the edge, in the very corner of one, like a glinting of what appears to be a silver coin.
Can I get up there? Can I try?
Yeah, if you like, if you could pull a bit of furniture around, like jump up and like grab onto the beam, yeah, that's no problem.
I'm gonna do that. Can I see anything? What's up there?
When you get up there, you find a pile of all of your missing coins.
Oh, yeah. I want to scrape it back into my... Is there anything up there? Is there a thing in there?
Hold on. I wasn't sure if you were actually going to find this today or not. Yeah, as you go to reach out to grab your coins, what is your... would you have looked for this before putting your armor on?
No.
Okay, so I'm going to assume... Oh no, actually, tell a lie. That has a much higher attack modifier than I thought. It wouldn't have mattered if you have armor on. You reach out, and something bites your hand. You take 1 piercing damage, and all of a sudden there's a... as in front of you, almost like... do you remember Mystique in the...
Yeah,
the Marvel, the X-Men films where like it's like the scale effect, like it's like that, and clamped onto the edge of one of your fingers is a little fairy dragon, and it's like it's currently trying to like worry at the end of your finger.
Oh
It's
my god. Do I know anything about this thing, or is it just like an insect-looking thing?
I would say because you're an elf and you like you grew up in like the forest and stuff near the Feywild, you can roll a nature check at advantage.
This is not how I thought this morning was going to go.
Me neither. I didn't think you were going to look for your gold so quick.
You don't underestimate her need for gold. What check? A nature check.
Yes.
12.
Okay. I would say that fairy dragons are they're a fey creature. You would know that they are renowned for being invisible tricksters, which would be why you hadn't seen it before it bit you. They are actually relatively intelligent with a fondness for treasure and good company, but have a puckish sense of humor.
Oh God.
Was you rolled a 12 or 14?
12.
Probably that's about all you know, but Twilight, I'm assuming you're watching this happen. Whenever you see the fairy dragon appear, you can also roll a nature check.
Okay.
Actually, Gillian, was that an advantage your roll?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so that is an 18.
Okay, you would know, you know all the same information as Gilliana, but you also know that fairy dragons, while not like full dragons, they have a draconic nature to them. You can like play to their nature by offering them treasure. This can be like, in this case, he obviously quite likes gold coins, but this can also be sweets, baked goods, baubles, and you could exchange this for assistance or safe passage through their territory, or just to stop stealing your shit. But they are intelligent creatures, and it's obviously not very happy that you found its hoard that it was assembling, and it has lashed out at you.
Well, I'm not very happy that it stole my hoard in the first place. Oh God.
I'll say both of you would know they don't speak common. They would speak Draconic or Sylvan.
Oh, I speak Sylvan.
Ah.
I'm going to call up to it in Sylvan. I'm like, hello, friend. When do you come down here?
When Twilight speaks to it in Sylvan, it sort of, it's been trying to worry your fingers. Like, "Arr, arr." It stops and like looks past you over to Twilight, and like it's very expressive in its face. Like it doesn't have eyebrows, but if it did, it would raise them. And it lets go of your finger and like, does that thing where you've had something nasty in your mouth. It goes, bleh, bleh, and like sticks its tongue out, bleh, and then jumps down off of the rafter onto the bed next to Twilight. It's not often I get to hear the sylvan tongue around these parts.
Well, it's not often you see something as magical as you around these parts.
Whenever you say that, it's like he like, puffs his chest up. And actually, you rolled an 18, so you would know that a fairy dragon's coloration denotes its age, and that this one is currently like mostly red with like tinges of orange towards the tips of its wings and along its spine. So you would know that this fairy dragon is probably only about 5 years old. So very young. Yeah, it, like whenever you say it, like puffs its chest out, it like preens. It's like, oh yes, I am very magical. I am very lovely. And it looks over his shoulder to Giliana, who I'm assuming at this point have you climbed down again from the rafter after collecting your gold.
Do I have my money?
You can take your money now while he's distracted.
How much money did I lose?
I was hoping you'd kept track of that because it's. I have written it down.
I thought it was gone forever.
I have it written down in each of the session notes, so I will go back and find it. Obviously, you've got the 6 from today and the 4 silver. I will go back and find the other stuff in a bit, but it is in my session notes, so you will get it back. Whenever he like sees you climbing down with his horde, he like hisses and then says to Twilight, I do not appreciate the big one taking my horde away.
Well, I feel like the horde was hers to begin with, no?
She obviously didn't protect it very well. Hordes should be protected, otherwise they go to those who can claim them.
Yes, well, indeed. But as you can see, she wasn't aware that something like you were around these parts. And she's never really experienced anything like this, I don't think. You're very smart and clever to have got it all.
Again, he preens at that and says, well, her ignorance is not my problem.
No, indeed. But I do not think she would appreciate you taking any more. Is there anything we can placate you with? Start a new horde, maybe. I have this little, and she's going to...
His eyes twinkle at that.
I'm going to pull out... So Twilight has all these little kind of figurines she used to play with in the observatory. And I'm going to pull out a little wizard and be like, I have this, which is very special, very rare. And I do not give it up easily, but I do feel like it needs to be in the care of someone who will look after it. And I'm going to place it in front of him.
Yeah, he sort of like sits back on his hind 2 legs and like reaches forward and like grabs on. Like, what sort of size would you say this thing is? This little wizard thing? So I should have also described as well. Obviously, when I said this thing was biting Giliana's finger, this is like a tiny creature. This thing's probably only like the size of your hand.
Yeah, I'd say it's about the size of a D&D mini.
Okay, so it's probably just slightly smaller than it. So it like reaches out, pulls it forward, and like holds it up, and like turns it side to side, inspects it. Then it reaches forward, like gently, like gnaws on it to say, like, you know, like when you see someone biting into a gold coin to see if it's real. It does that. It's like, and it holds out. It's like, rare, you say?
Extremely.
Then I suppose it shall suffice for now. But your friend must either be more wary of her hoard, or other offerings could, of course, be made instead. And at that, he like leaps up back onto the rafter, and you see him like pushing it into the corner where the gold coins were, and then he like curls around it like a cat. And he gives.
What was your name?
He had like curled up as like a little cat, but then he like raises. He like flops his head back over, so it's like a cat does, where it's like resting on the sill. And like so its head is just sort of like leaning down looking at you, but not holding it up at all. And he says, you may call me Imphis. And that's IMFIS.
Imphis. Well met. My name's Twilight. I'm sure we'll see more of you.
Oh, I guarantee it. And he looks at Giliana once more and like breathes out like a puff of like sparks, but like not like fire sparks, but almost like glittery sparks. You know, like a firework sparkler, almost like those. And then he turns invisible again, and all you can see is the little wizard token.
Well.
Giliana's just going to give it the middle finger.
Listen, Giliana, I managed to convince him to not keep that gold. So
make a dexterity saving throw.
Oh no.
No, I won't.
Okay. Then you don't.
No, one sec. I know. It's fine. I was joking. 22.
Okay. As you I'm not making you do it disadvantage because you're looking directly at it when you give the middle finger, but just like a little bit of dirt, like not like a big stone or anything, but just like a little bit of dirt gets flicked off the beam and it's like sailing right towards you, and you just duck your head out of the way at the last second.
Now, I don't know where to put my money, where the money won't get stolen by little, horrible little creatures.
He said you weren't guarding it very well.
Well, I was. Obviously I'm not, because he got it. But I don't know where to put it. Where do you put yours?
I mean, mine's in like a million places.
We went through this already. Twilight has hers like in her brassiere, in her socks.
Yeah, in the boot.
Well, I'm going to put mine in my brassiere. And then
Yeah, just spread it. Don't have it all in one place.
Just as like a metagaming thing, I'm going to assume that when you guys are in public, you're being very careful about your stuff. I also assume that when you're in like your room, that you're not having everything like locked away and cinched up. So it's like your bag might have been open and it snuck in and grabbed some coin out of your bag. It just pretty much comes down to I was taking a bit of liberty and assuming that you weren't keeping like everything hidden under your mattress at the time.
Well, from now on, I am keeping it.
From now on, it can be assumed with the knowledge that there's something in your room stealing your coin that you're going to do a better job of hiding it.
Yes.
But yes, so you've now met Imphis, and you've got a companion you didn't know you had or wanted.
Yeah, I'm just going to be... I had to give him a wizard to keep him happy. Now I haven't got a wizard in my party. Ugh.
Why did you have a wizard?
Listen.
I didn't know we had a wizard.
I'm just going to like reach into one of my many pouches and pull out like loads of little figurines and be like, look, I have lots of things. And I'll put them back in the pocket.
Well, at least I have it back. That's the real thing.
True. Okay. Just be careful with it.
So after the morning's excitement, you all head down and meet up at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, all that's going on. Sinclair's he's just devouring his breakfast.
I'm just there in silence, just meditating.
Yeah.
It's a quiet morning for us too.
Yeah. Your dad's just like, what are taking those two so long?
Their breakfast is getting all cold and eaten.
I mean, we've got a job today.
Yeah, so I'm assuming you two go downstairs, join the other two. Do you relay what's happened in these two? Warn them, or do you hope that Fairy Dragon steals from them next?
As they come down, I'm just like, it's about time.
Well, Casisol, we've had a run-in with a fairy dragon who decided to steal... You know how all my coin has been going missing? Well, that little thing has been stealing all of my coin.
A dragon?
A fairy dragon.
His name's Imphis. He's really cute.
He's a wretch, and he bit my finger.
Oh, actually, I should look at that. I'm going to look at Giliana's fingers, check it's okay.
What did you do to make the dragon angry, then?
I went to get my rightful coin back, and it decided it was going to bite me because of that. I don't see how that was my fault.
How did it get to your coins, then?
You're saying that you stay in a strange
Twilight.
town and you don't keep it under your mattress.
Well, no one told me that I was meant to do that. What don't you understand? Have I never told you guys that I'm not very well travelled?
Hello. The other night we had someone come in and try and kill us. Wouldn't you want to be a bit more careful with your stuff?
Well, I don't know.
I love the victim blaming going on
I
here.
To be fair, I feel like Giliana has money, so she doesn't think about needing to protect it, right?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I...
No, it was the dragon. He wanted to make a horde. I'm now giving him a new start to a different horde. So we just need to watch out.
At least there's a happy dragon.
Yes.
So yeah, just because there was a couple of bits that went on there. So Casisol would know that fairy dragons are much more fey than they are dragons. Weird way of saying that, but they have some draconic lineage, but they are a fairy creature before they were a dragon. And Twilight, you said about the injury to Giliana's finger. She's got like a couple of little puncture wounds where she's bled a little bit, but like I say, it was only one piercing damage she took. But yeah, it is just a little like puncture wound.
Oh, good, because if it was, Kiliana
just leave that hanging there. If it was Shake's fist.
Wow.
But yeah, so you've met up, you've regaled the others with your excitement from the morning, and your plan, from what I remember, was to head pretty much straight off. You have the map and the location for what was the Lich's lair that this noble, I think it was Brinlow, had discovered. There was a sort of map passed down from his ancestors he found recently, and you know that is meant to lead you back into the valley towards where this Lich's hideout was. Is there anything else you guys wanted to do, or were you planning to head straight off first thing in the morning to try and take care of this?
No, we've got to go because we've got to get back, haven't we?
Have we all got our books?
Well, yeah, book club.
I mean, you all have the books that you bought last time, yes?
Yeah, because we've got, 5 days till the ball?
Yeah. And you were told that to get into to get back, I think the idea was that you could, if you left first thing in the morning, you could pretty much get to this hideaway, and if it was as simple as Brinlow said, you could literally be there and back within a day.
Wasn't there another place we could go to as well?
Yeah, there
like
was
that.
It was
the
on the way.
potential sorting out the issue for a farmer, which we said we might look into.
Yeah.
I'm remembering the conversation now, but I can't remember what his problem was.
There was something there, like animals or something.
Sheep in the valley, they were attacked, killed by something, but something was also taking them. And that's about a day's travel from here. 100 gold reward for the investigation, and evidence of a creature for a slightly bigger reward.
That's right, yeah. That one was just to carry out the investigation.
Mm-hmm.
So is the plan to do the Brinlow quest first, or are you planning to go to the farmer first?
I think we were just going to go by whichever was closest on our way over. Was that the plan?
I think the priority was the more well-paying
Lich
one.
thingy.
Yeah, I think it was the sword, and then if we had time, we would do the sheep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Cool. So do you guys plan, because obviously it is back in towards the valley, you can tell from the map and the discussion you had with Brinlow that there is a bit of a track leading up to where they believe the entrance to this lair is. Would you take the horses and cart, or would you walk it?
Is it quicker on the horses and cart?
I mean, it would be slightly quicker on like the main road, but then because you don't know how clear this like track might be, like if it is only like, you know, an old deer track or an old foot track, it might not be particularly easy to get the horses and wagon up it. So the time you would maybe, again,
Yeah.
for all you know, it could be completely clear. You just don't know until you get there. So you just run the risk of having to tie the horses up somewhere else.
Yeah, tie 'em up near the main road, at which point someone could nick them.
I think we can
Foot.
walk. Let's just walk.
It's a lovely day.
I don't want the horses to get nicked. Yeah.
Okay. Is there any last minute preparations you want to do before you go?
I don't think we've got any money to buy anything.
So I definitely don't.
Yeah, so don't forget, you did pick up some stuff last time. You've got some... Oh, no, you're meant to go and pick up some potions, weren't you?
Shit.
Yeah,
I need
let's go do that.
I spent like a load of money on that.
Yeah, did you write down what it was you bought?
Yeah, it was a healing potion. I think it was just a
just the one?
standard. Yeah, because it was expensive.
So yeah, you head back to the Alchemist, which is the Bubbling Vials, which was run by the halfling woman, and you covered in tattoos. So you head back in. It's relatively early; they're just opening up, but as promised, they have the potion ready for you, and they hand it over. You pick it up. Was there anything else you want to do? Any last minute checks, or were you just once you pick that up, were you just planning on heading straight off?
I think
Yeah,
that was it.
Yeah, because we don't really have anything else to do.
Yeah.
Cool.
Unless we want to buy more smut, which,
I don't have the money for any more smut.
No, my smart
That's a bit
budget
much
is
for me.
we're going to make smut money. That's the important thing.
Yes.
Sorry, please help me balance my account, balance my budget. I'm spending 50 gold on healing potions, 100 gold on armor, and 3,000 gold on smut. Stop buying so much smut. Never!
Book club must happen.
So you head out of the gates, back sort of southward into this valley, and as the sun's coming up, it is, you know, a relatively nice day. In the valley, you're not getting a lot of the direct sunlight, but it is nice. It's still the summertime, it's still quite mild. And this being the main road, you don't have much to worry about here. You travel for most of the morning, and as the sun's getting higher into the air, you come to the point where you know you have to veer off the main road and head up into the hills that line the valley. And who's got the map? Anyone?
I have the map.
Okay. So as you head off the road, Gilliana, can you make me a survival check? Just to make sure you're following the sort of hand-sketched map compared to the actual map of the region. You have to make sure you're heading the right way.
19.
Oh yeah, no, that's perfect. As you head off the road and onto this sort of worn track, you're heading you head into a more like heavily wooded area, heavily forested area. And as you travel through there, you see signs of what a long time ago would have been the effects of this lich on the area. You come across on occasion, these long dead petrified trees that are sort of dotted throughout this wood. And the closer you get to where you believe your destination is, the more of these you see, until right at the very edge of this clearing, or not the edge of this clearing, right at the very edge of this forested area, as you come to quite a steep incline in the hill, there are no living trees. There are just these petrified husks, and the grass and undergrowth suddenly stops at the edge of this wooded area, and it's just dirt and stone leading up to this sharp incline. And before you, in this scree, you see a large iron door built into the side of the hill. It is slightly ajar, and there is a slight bit of overgrowth from further up the hill, sort of vines and ivy that have grown down over the front of it. But judging by the map and the fact that this door is out here in the middle of nowhere, you think you may have found your destination. What would you guys like to do?
What do we think, guys? Shall we knock?
I think we should all gather from it. Team meeting.
Team
huddle.
huddle.
Right. Okay. Has anybody ever done anything like this before? Obviously, Twilight. Anna, have you ever been into a dungeon or anything like this before? Have you ever done a job like this in your...
No. I read books about it.
I've done a little bit of training in monasteries, but
Okay.
I've never actually been in an actual dungeon.
I can safely say no. Not this type of dungeon, anyway.
I've done sort of small ones back when I was learning the ropes, as they say, and, well, they're not particularly pleasant. All I say is, everybody keep your eyes open. Trust nothing would be my advice. And let's go and find a sword.
Is there a backside?
You're pretty sure this is the only way in. So before we step in, this being a sort of like dungeon crawl, I'm just going to get a couple of bits of information from you guys up front. First of all, who has potions and how many? This bit of information is more for you guys to remember. I'm just reminding you.
Like any potion.
I'm more so healing. I'm going to assume, like, this being a dungeon, the team is going to want to know who's holding on to the healing potions.
I have a potion of healing.
Okay.
I also have a potion of healing.
Anyone else?
0.
No, I don't have any.
I
So
have
the
these...
two that don't have abilities of healing has the healing potions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is good.
I have these 2 little potions here.
She's flashed, for our listeners, she's flashing the cards that you get from DN Dice whenever you purchase some of their lovely dice. Which, unless I know which card she has, I don't know if I'm going to let her use them or not.
I have...
Insert sponsor messages now.
I have Nebula Clash and Crucible Steel.
Do you know what? Screw it. In an effort to promote our lovely sponsor and some of these cards which I wrote, you can actually have those as potions. We can say that you have those from your backstory. I reserve the right to nerf them if the damage output is way too high.
How much is too high?
Enough to one-shot the villains that I put in front of you.
How much is enough?
You'll find out. The next question is, what is everyone's passive perception?
Ooh, 12.
11.
Ooh, that's a horrible 9 for Sinclair.
Ooh. We're not very perceptive.
Am I the most perceptive?
How? Oh, 13.
Okay, thank God.
Oh, so Anna is just slightly more perceptive. Cool. And the next question is, what is going to be your standard marching orders? This is the order I'm going to assume you guys are going to enter a room unless you specify otherwise. You can obviously, you could enter the first room and go, actually, this is a bad idea. We're going to put somebody else at the front. This is just so I don't have to ask every single time you walk into a new room. Who wants to go first?
I'll go
I-
second.
I'm not sure it's best for me to go first because I'm not
Yeah, you're
very
sneaky.
resilient.
Mm.
If I get
This
hit,
again, this is just assuming, unless you say, like, Gilliana might say, I sneak ahead or whatever. This, I'm just assuming if you guys say we walk into the next room, this is just like your general marching order.
Yeah, I'm sure Sinclair would be happy to be up front. He's
Okay,
the,
so
kind of
Sinclair,
the meat shield.
Kaz, I'm
You
assuming.
know the dungeons.
I'm assuming would it then be Gilliana and then Twilight, or Twilight then Gilliana?
after
After
Cecil.
Cecil, yeah.
I'll go at the back.
Okay, so Twi and Gilliana. Cool. Like I say, you can change that order any time. That is just what I'm going to assume, unless you tell me otherwise. So, as usual, I've made like a little map, but it is mostly just for checking distances and stuff. I will try to avoid you guys as well, try to avoid saying I move here or there, or like describe where you're actually moving, and then we can just have the tokens as reference. So you guys pull open this iron door, and Sinclair, as you step up to this thing, it is heavy and it is almost completely rusted over, but you're able to like pull and pull and pull, and it creaks and groans, and as the rust tears away, and you eventually pull one of the doors open. And inside, you see a dark, dusty, cold stone room. Directly opposite you is another set of doors, and the walls to the left and right have a door in the middle. And you can, being one at the front, roll a perception check.
Okay, here we go. That is that's good. 19 plus -1, 18.
Okay. As the light spills in from outside, you can immediately spot what appear to be arrow slits in the wall to the left and right. And I don't mean like traps things where it's like a little circular hole. I mean like, medieval castle style vertical arrow slits.
Yeah, where you would station soldiers.
Yeah. So you're at the front, you've just opened the door, you haven't stepped inside yet, but you have managed to spot that. What would you like to do?
First thing Sinclair is going to do is actually do a quick look around in case there might be a trigger for some kind of trap in the room.
Yeah, roll investigation.
Ooh, not so good. Investigation, that's a solid 10.
I mean, that makes sense because you're stood at the door. You haven't actually stepped into the room yet. But as far as you can tell from where you're standing, there doesn't appear to be any sort of like trigger activation in front of you.
Okay, Sinclair will then slowly start to walk into the centre of the room and will gesture for everyone to follow.
Yep. You step into the room, your footfalls echoing about the bare stone walls, but nothing happens. Dust puffs up from the ground at every step, but there are no other movements, no other sounds to be heard.
Out of curiosity, what does the air smell like? Is it sort of foul, or is it sort of
It smells
almost
stale.
like stale?
Stale air, dead air. There's been, with that door closed, there has been no circulation, no movement in here. It just smells like bare stone and dust.
Okay.
So, as a reminder, you've got a door to your left and right, and a larger door directly in front of you.
So Sinclair will then turn to the others. So, what do we want to do? Shall we investigate the two rooms off to the side here?
So back at my at the monasteries, how much training would I have had in this sort of situation?
I mean, I'd imagine the monastery didn't really focus on like dungeon crawls. Like you were a monastery,
Yeah.
you focused on learning the ways of the Ascendant Dragon. So like it depends entirely on how you want to apply your training. Like you're not going to have done lock picking and stuff like that.
Of course.
But if something arises and you want to apply your training to it, then we can work out a way that works essentially.
Yeah.
But no, you were never like dropped into a bare stone room and went, find your way out.
No, I was thinking more like kind of like, I don't know, kind of like how would someone go about going through a dungeon? Just not
carefully
detailed, but like not detailed, but like as.
I mean, so I would say as part
adventure.
of I would say as part of like your thing is obviously part of your training was getting you prepared to head out into the world, and be an adventurer, I would say you would have done like classes on basic dungeoneering, things like people will make traps, so be wary of traps, and some crazy weird people keep monsters that go as guardians or whatever, or you will just some people just have like actual guardian sort of creatures or constructs. Yeah, it's pretty much as you would expect for sort of like dungeoneering training. It's just don't fucking walk into your room blind, essentially, is the crux of it. Speaking of walking into your room blind, this room is dark. There are no lights in here. Obviously, as you open the door, sunlight is streaming in and it is giving enough illumination to see, but you heavily suspect that the rest of this place is going to be in darkness. I know at least some of you have dark vision, but for those who don't, would you be lighting up torches?
Yeah, I'm going to be reaching in for a torch to light up.
Okay, just not a massive issue or a massive thing, but like, would you be using a torch or twilight? I think you have the light cantrip, don't you?
Oh, no, I don't have it.
I think you've used it before. Or do you not? Does somebody not use light before? Or am I thinking of a different game?
I have it in Kenna.
Oh, and Ken, that's the one. Okay, so never mind then. Yeah, you would have to have a torch. So you light your torch up, and the light, the red and orange light, flickers off the walls around you.
Yeah, as I light up the torch, I'm immediately looking around for kind of traps, seeing that kind of looking for anything that would give an idea of a trap, because obviously I'm aware of traps.
The trap, air quotes, in this room is fairly obvious. It's the arrow slits, but as you guys have stepped into the room, nothing has happened. Would anyone like to wait? Is anyone going to check any of the doors, or are you all just kind of huddled in the middle of the room at the minute?
I'll go and check the one on the left. Is there one to the left?
Yep, you walk over to that door, and it's another similar, like, heavy iron door, and you can tell that there are no visible locks on this side. There was a handle. Somebody else who's come through here has obviously like damaged this door to get through it, and it is not ajar, but you can see a crack where it's like not fully closed.
This one's kind of open. Do we want to check in here first, guys, or
Sinclair will walk over and join Gilliana. Might as well. Makes it easier to get in.
You wrench the door open again. The hinges are old and rusty, and as you wrench it open and peer inside with the torchlight flicking over your shoulder, casting your shadow, dancing into the room, you can spot the remains of what appear to be archers, skeletal in their remains with their smashed bows and arrows lying atop them. You suspect the trap here may have been that somebody walks into the room and a bunch of people shoot them with arrows from these side rooms. But whether or not these were skeletons to begin with, obviously you've been told that this is the lair of a lich. These may have been animated skeletons that were set in wait, but whoever was come through before, possibly Brindlow's ancestor, has obviously dispatched these ones.
Okay, aside from the two scaly boys, does it look like there's anything else in the room?
No, they have some bows and arrows that have been smashed and destroyed in the conflict, but it is, other than that, just an empty room.
I suspect the other room is going to be very much the same. I wonder if there's even any point in checking it.
I mean, it can't hurt to check.
By all means, let's go and have a quick look then.
You open the door and this room is filled with diamonds. No, it is it is pretty much the same. Two smashed and destroyed skeletal remains with broken bows and arrows.
It doesn't hurt to check our corners, as we're going through. Don't want anything being behind us as we're going deeper.
Yeah, so it's exactly the same then.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Right, shall we move on then?
Yeah.
So you head to the larger door that was directly opposite when you entered, and just for the sake of description and with the map I have, we're going to say that is to the south. You head through the door to the south, and after a short hallway, you're looking into a much longer room than the one previous. You suspect it to be about 50 feet long and about 30 feet across. Again, completely dark, but with Kazisol's torchlight flickering over the walls, you do see what appear to be sconces that would have at one point lit this room brightly, but are now empty. Even the ash itself has fallen away, leaving just an empty iron sconce. Oh, that is an empty room. Do you guys I should say as well, you can see on the opposite wall, heading down, where it appears to be a set of large stone stairs leading further down into this sort of hillside.
Yeah, empty room.
An empty big room. Of course.
Well, again, you don't know what used to be here.
Standard procedure, have a quick look around for traps.
Yep, roll an investigation check.
Ooh, no. 4.
Would I be able to bolt as well?
And just because we're going by marching order, we're assuming Sinclair is in the front. So all I want to know is, Sinclair, you have had a look round. You see no evidence of traps. Would you just continue walking at that point?
Yeah, he's going to go cautiously, though, because...
Okay, cool. And are you keeping the marching order? Like, would the rest of you follow him, assuming that he's had a look round?
I'd say so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what I will do now is say we're going to assume you're in the marching order. Cazisel, as you step into the room as well, I'll let you make your own investigation check, because that may make a difference to what's about to happen.
Yeah, that's just a 13.
I'm going to die.
Bringing up the rear. Usually that's Kazisel's job, but...
Soz Twilight, you go first.
So pretty much all. So Cazisel, unfortunately, you as well.
Yeah.
You didn't see anything obvious that would make out any sort of trap.
It's my first time in a dungeon, I won't be too aware.
Once Twilight, the third person in your sort of parade, has stepped 5 feet into the room, well, technically 10 feet into the room, you guys hear a crunching noise, a slight grinding, and then the floor you're standing on begins to tip. About the center of the room, the floor pivots. Everyone but Giliana needs to make me a dexterity saving throw. Sinclair, you're making yours at different disadvantage because you're so far into the room.
I was gonna say, can I have grabbed what I've noticed and can I grab Twilight?
I will let Twilight roll an advantage since you're trying to give her the help action.
Thank
Oh.
God. What was that?
Save.
Is
It's a dexterity
save, right?
saving throw, yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh, baby.
Giliana, you saved me. My first roll was a natural 1.
Oh no.
But
I rolled a 24.
Oh.
I can do dexterity.
2.
12. Because my dex saving throw is a -1.
I like to think that Sinclair's armour is just so heavy that it's sort of, off balancing him.
Yeah, citizens still just go, whoa!
I mean, if I kept the natural 1, I would have at 0, so at least.
Like a giant seesaw, the floor you're standing on tilts, beginning slowly and then gaining momentum as it turns. You all begin to slide backward. Kazisa, with your training, you immediately see what's happening and you leap upwards and get back onto the ledge that Giliana was standing on. Unfortunately, both Sinclair and Twilight, you cannot catch yourselves in time. And the floor tilts and you begin to slip downward, and with the light from Kazisel's torch flickering off of the rusted and, well, you assume it's rust, you're not 100% sure, glancing off of the spikes beneath the floor, you find yourselves falling into the spike trap beneath. Both of you will be taking...
What magic do you guys have? Can you not, like...
Or anything.
You guys take 12 damage.
Shit.
12?
Yeah, I rolled 2d6 and rolled 2 6s.
Ouch.
Yeah. The floor tilts and you find yourselves dumped into the spike trap beneath. Unfortunately, you were not quick enough to catch yourselves in time and are taking 12 damage each. And what's worse is, unless you guys on the top act very quickly, the floor begins to reset itself now that there's no more weight on this side.
Shit. Is there any way that I can, like, climb down but not, like, land on
Yes, absolutely. If you want to, like, the spikes aren't like, it's not like a meat hammer. They're not like constant. They're just like a couple of them. There's probably like, a foot or two of space between each of them, so you can quite easily just like drop yourself down now that you know they're there before the floor swings back into position. And you're now down there in the dark because Kazisel, the one with the torch, is still up at the top.
Kazisel! Oh.
I mean, you guys have dark vision, so...
Yeah.
That's pretty dark down here.
Well, now we're all separated as well.
I mean, he's still up above. Like I
So-
say, the floor obviously can be moved, so this is just like, you've got 2 people down there injured. You can get up, you're not like stuck to the spikes or anything. but they have cut you up quite badly. There's now 3 of you under the floor and 1 of you above the floor, and you can like hear each other. It's not like a sealed thing. What would you guys like to do?
Are you guys okay?
Not really. No.
Spikes
Are you guys alive down there?
Just.
Sort of, yes.
Oh no. You guys are the healers, so.
Pack. How are we going to get out of here? If I look around, are there any tunnels? Is there any obvious way out?
No. You're pretty sure this thing was designed that when somebody falls into it, they stay in it. But obviously, that doesn't account for like a bunch of people working together. You're pretty sure, like not to give you an answer, but like between the 4 of you, you're pretty sure you could like partially activate the trap, get an edge lifted up or something. You're only 10 feet down, by the way. You're not like way underneath. The floor is only 10 feet above you.
Okay. So, are you guys... Oh shit. This is not a good start. Right. Cecil?
Hello?
We need you to open the floor door to let us out.
I'm trying to, at first I'm kind of trying to push down the floor with my foot from the edge.
Yeah, so if you get yourself up to the edge of it...
So testing how much force it takes.
Yeah, you realise that obviously it didn't activate until all 3 of you were on it with your general weight, but you realise if you get a grip in the corner and brace yourself against the wall, you can exert enough force to get it to start to move.
Yeah, I'll get into the corner and kind of try and put as much pressure on as I can to try and tilt it. Does that give enough space for people to be able to...
It's certainly enough. There might not be enough space for all of them to climb out, but it's enough space that they can start to Sinclair can maybe reach up, pull it a bit further down, and because he is 8.5 feet tall or whatever fucking size he is. So
take his feet off the ground and use his weight to bring it down as well.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. But what I will say is to do that. So because you've had to set your torch down next to you, and you've pushed the floor down. All of you can make me a perception check.
Oh god, I'm rolling so shit. 4.
Oh, 22.
Ooh,
okay.
11.
Okay. Giuliana, you immediately notice where Cecil is standing as he's pushed this down, because you're looking at him. The torchlight is flickering off the wall, and you notice there is a hole in the wall next to where almost the floor would meet the surface, and as you look down directly underneath that, you see what appears to be a rusty python, like a climbing python. You can surmise that this has been at some point in the past was hammered into the wall to stop the floor from moving. You suspect this was how the previous paladin got his way through here.
Okay, so can I take that and put it in the hole?
I mean, I would probably do that after you're on top. The idea was that he had got the floor up, put the python underneath, so that when the floor came down, it hit the python and didn't rotate the whole way.
Right, okay, yeah. So, should I... See, I'm thinking, how do we get everyone out?
I will say at this point, with Cecil pushing it down and Sinclair able to get his weight on it, you guys can just between you, give each other a boost up, get a rope, whatever. I'm not going to make you roll for this. It's only 10, 15 feet at most. You guys can, between you, get your way back out.
Okay.
Yeah, so you all climb back up with Cecil's help on the floor, Sinclair putting his weight on it. You all assist each other out, lift each other up. And now that you've seen the python, I'm assuming one of you at least wants to try and do that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Probably not me, as I don't.
I'll do it.
I haven't seen it, so...
I mean, Giuliana, if you want to do it, just give me a straight-up strength check to see how well you hammer it into the wall.
Christ.
Or
actually,
if you don't want to, just give it to Sinclair and tell him to do it.
Ask Sinclair.
Yeah, Sinclair, you do it. I'm not...
Okay. Strength check, did you say?
Yeah.
Hooray! Good roll. Unnatural 20.
Nice. So once you guys are out, you manage to rotate the floor slightly back the other way, and you get the python underneath, and now the floor can't move that way. Now, you're aware that if you go to the other side of the floor, it's probably going to try and rotate the other way. So you just have to be careful that when you get to the other side, you all do. You also know it takes a certain amount of weight, so you could just go one at a time and just get over the other side. So again, You guys could work that out. I'm not going to make you roll for it. You all just go one at a time, get over to the other side of the floor. It doesn't have enough weight on it to activate it, and you're all able to get to the stairway on the other wall.
Well, Sinclair, you're probably heaviest, so we should probably stand on this side so you go, and then it doesn't tip
Yes, indeed. I'll go first.
with your massive armour and Goliath height.
My gigantic ass, yes.
Ass is saving us again.
With that said, you manage to get across the teetering trap and make it to the stone stairwell, which leads you further down into this hillside, or this lich's lair. And you find yourself standing in a sort of, again, another three-way entryway, this time with a closed door in front of you. And to either side, there is a hallway sort of leading east and west away from you. You can tell from where you're standing, it's not particularly far before it turns, both of them turning to the south at the end.
Which way? Which way?
Could we take a moment and just bandage our wounds? I'm bleeding quite a lot.
Oh, yeah. I should probably do something too.
You can just feel it rushing to your head, can't you, Twilight? It's not particularly
Yes.
pleasant.
Not good. I guess I'm just going to cure wounds on myself. First level. Because I don't really have any... I'll just use a first level cure wounds.
Yeah, I do the same. Oh, that's one of my smiting slots gone.
Oh. I rolled a 7 on a d8, so that is 9 points of healing to moi.
That's more than... Yeah, that's nearly all the damage you took.
Yeah.
Nearly.
Well, it took half my health.
I did roll particularly well. For that, I do apologise.
It was
Cure
literally
wound.
half my hit point.
Cure wounds adds your modifier, doesn't it, as well?
Does it say? Yeah, probably.
1d8, yeah, plus your modifier. Cool, that's 10 points back.
Oh, look at that. These are both basically perfectly again.
We
nothing
are
happened.
back on our feet.
Yeah, we can do it.
Cool. So you're in this sort of entryway, hallway type thing, this large stone room, and you've got three options: east, west, and south. So the south is the closed door, east and west is a hallway, which you can see on both sides turns to the south pretty quickly. Jay, would you like to go?
Is there any sort of indication in, say, like, in the stonework above any of the entranceways, or is it just sort of blank stone?
You can all make a perception check if you'd like.
14?
7.
2 with a natural 1.
Nice.
22.
Okay.
Hey.
Sinclair, there's no real markings, but you can obviously tell that one of them is like a locked door. So, or maybe not a locked door, you haven't checked it, but one is a door, so you assume that is like this is the way it's being protected. These other two are just like other rooms on this level. And Giuliana, with the 22, you can, from the hallway to the east, you get a waft of like volcanic brimstone smell, like a heat and a hot air smell coming from that direction.
The left side, was that?
That was the east, so to the right.
Okay.
Well, as you're walking, it would be the character's left. On the map, it's to the right.
Okay. So the left, I can smell. It's like hot. It smells hot, like fire, like almost like brimstone. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
That doesn't sound good.
No.
Doesn't sound good for a supposedly inactive dungeon.
Are the active dungeons usually on fire?
In my experience, no, it's usually just creatures living in there.
Should we want to investigate it?
I don't. Do we think a sword is going to be in a fiery pit of hell?
No, but it's probably worth checking the two sides just in case there's something that might sneak up on us. You never know.
Yeah, you don't want anything coming behind us.
No, that's right.
Nasty things that lurk in these sorts of places.
Delayed reaction there.
We need to protect our asses, okay?
Anyway, direction?
Has anybody got fire resistance?
I have. I'm pretty sure as a tiefling, I have it as a racial.
I mean, if you're a standard Asmodean tiefling, then yes, you have resistance to fire damage.
Yeah, I have resistance to fire damage, so I can.
Cold resistance, I have exactly the opposite.
Doesn't help the
We
situation.
literally are fire and ice, sun and moon.
Yep.
Complete opposites. I can lead this then.
Ooh. Yeah,
No.
right. No, why not?
Just pushing Twilight. Oh my god, you go first.
Yeah, I like that imagery of Gillian just pushing Twilight down the corridor.
Yeah.
Don't
Go into the
don't,
fiery pit.
don't underestimate yourself.
Okay,
You're
I'm
more
gonna
than
go.
capable of leading the fray. Okay, let's all go.
So you guys step down that hallway, and as it turns to the south, which is like as you're walking, it'd be a right turn. You see a room that is built very similarly to the others so far, with stone walls and stone flooring of a similar make and design of those you've been through so far, except in the eastern wall, it appears to have fallen away and broken, and if you get closer to it, you see that it opens up into some sort of cavernous fissure that actually anyone who would like to get close and have a look can make an investigation check or a nature check. Well, that's it for another episode. Thanks for sticking with us. As usual, I'd like to thank Lixie B and Jeff for the wonderful logo and character art they created for us, the Stormweather Shanty Choir for letting us use their song Drunken Sailor as our theme tune, DN Dice for sponsoring us, and all of our wonderful Patreon supporters who have been helping us out. So just before we jump into the recommended podcast for this episode, just want to quickly let you guys know, if you haven't seen already, on Twitter or on Discord, myself and the rest of the cast were recently guesting on Penance RPG's livestream, where we were playing one of their Halloween streams. They run these every year and have done for a few years now. They're always such good fun, and we were really chuffed to be involved this year and actually get the chance to sit down and run a stream with them. Nikolai ran the game for us, and it was as absolutely insane as any other game I played with these guys. So that was streamed on their Twitch channel. You can find us there on their recorded videos. I believe they're going to be converting these to podcast form at some point, so I'm hoping you'll be able to hear that on their podcast channel as well. But for now, the video is there on their Twitch channel. It's twitch.com/penancerpg. As well as that, we will also soon have the third of our 4 character art pieces on our online shop. Hopefully going up this weekend, you will see some pieces with Sinclair's artwork. So that will now be Giliana, Twilight and Sinclair up there, and we're hoping in the next couple of months to also get Kazizel on there as well. Once we've done that, we have a couple of ideas for some silly joke art, some stickers and things that we want to get made. But if you're listening to this and you have some ideas, some of our jokes that you found particularly hilarious, I know we find all of our own jokes very funny, but if there's something that you've enjoyed or a moment that you would like to see encapsulated for all time in a silly little sticker that you can put on your laptop, drop us a message on Discord or on Twitter, or email us, let us know, because we have a couple of ideas we're throwing around, but we'd love to hear some feedback from you guys to see what you'd actually like to see. For our recommended podcast this week, I'm actually going to cheat a little. I'm going to be recommending another series of Sans Pants Radio podcasts. For those of you who have been listening to us from the beginning, you'll know that we really, really love the Sans Pants Radio podcast D&D is for Nerds. That's run by Adam Carnivale. Don't know whether this is a controversial opinion or not, but he is still one of my sort of top-rated DMs of any show I've listened to. I just think he does a fantastic job. That said, I just want to shout out a few of his other podcasts that aren't, well, some of them are, some of them aren't directly D&D related. Sans Pants Radio has a ton of different podcasts, but they have at least 3 other TTRPG podcasts. There may be others. These are the ones I'm currently listening to on top of D&D is for Nerds. And that is Tales from Handel Creek, My Summer with Ankotep, which is a campy, sort of old school, sort of take on some of like old school 90s films, where you have a bunch of kids who discover a mummy at one of their birthday parties in the back garden. Very silly, very funny, been enjoying that a lot. For something a little bit darker, they also have Adam's World of Darkness, Beyond the Map. I'm pretty sure they do say what game system is. I think it actually might just be World of Darkness, not 100% sure. but it is a much darker, grittier game. I will say this as well, most of Adam's games can be quite gritty, even on D&D is for Nerds. He doesn't pull punches, but this Beyond the Map series is particularly gritty and has been a really enjoyable listen and just a bit of a gear change from the D&D is for Nerds storylines. And on top of that, as a sort of spin-off from their D&D is for Nerds stories, they have made a new podcast for Tales from the Greyhill Free Company, which follows the Greyhill Free Company, an adventuring band who are going off and having their own sort of self-contained mini-adventures as different members of that band. So definitely go and check the 3 of those out. I have been enjoying them immensely, and they are just, more fantastic work from Adam and the rest of the guys at Sandspunch Radio. Do stick around, because we actually have a new promo for the first time in a while from the Cut from the Chronicles podcast. So stick around after I've finished here to hear that. But other than that, that's it for me. Thanks very much for sticking with us, guys, and we'll see you soon.
The Pathfinder Chronicles are the legends of our age, heroic epics that tell of inspirational acts of courage and duty. The people we celebrate in the Chronicles are shining examples to us all. But for all the scrolls in the archives, scarce few circulate beyond those walls, not because they are any less heroic, but because they are not to be emulated. Listen well to a cautionary tale cut from the Chronicle.
Are you bored of the same old podcasts?
This ain't your goddamn 5e.
Do you want something new and innovative?
I'm guessing I don't have the formula for a papoose.
Spiderweb papoose.
Played by a group of professional cast members?
I have to try and remember stats for loads. I don't have in one character to remember how they work.
I don't even know how my one character works.
Stories filled with epic adventures.
Funny that, we're not paying for fuck all. We're getting some free chips and a bed. That's what's happening.
And brave, heroic deeds.
Please kill it! I'm very, very tired.
Deep, meaningful character development.
I don't want to return an abject failure.
So you're just never going to go home then?
GMing of the highest standard.
Rage fills, libel him, fire strike, kill, fight
Sorry,
hard.
that's just 6 seconds up.
Then subscribe for all of this and more.
I'm deeply uncomfortable, but it feels like I've been down here forever, and I'm not sure that I'm not in hell. Cut from the Chronicles, a Pathfinder 2nd edition actual play, coming October 10th. When I retell this story, I may change some of the details.